So this is the OX Takana stove. Very similar design to the market leading Jetboil, but this is about a third of the price. So today I'm going to be seeing how this compares with the market leading stove. I'll start off with the price. So the OEX stove is currently about £35 at Go Outdoors, and the JETBOIL Minimum ranges from anywhere between £100 and £160 depending where you buy it from. I've had the JETBOIL now for quite a while and I really like it, but I've had lots of comments from people saying that the cheaper stoves are just as good quality and the performance is just the same. So I picked one of these up and I thought we could see how it compares to the Minimo. The first obvious thing is the package size. So these are both 1 litre capacity pots. However, the Takana is a slightly larger package, but as you'll see a little bit later on, that does come in handy. There isn't a huge amount of difference in the weight. I think this is about 617 grams and the JETBOIL, that weighs in at 521 grams. The OEX stove does come with a bag, so that does keep all the soot away from your stuff inside your rucksack. However, it's not the best fitting, it's a bit of a faff. However, the JETBOIL does come with a removable cup which does have measuring markers, and this protects the bottom of the heat exchanger and stops the soot from getting on things in your pack. The JETBOIL has a very simple lid. It's just got a rubber lid which stays on really firm, nothing's coming out of there. Very easy to remove. Whereas on the OEX, it's like this little metal clip thing which holds the lid on, and the handle folds down, it clips into place, and then the lid is removable. The lid on the JETBOIL does house the gas canister support stand. This stove does come with one of those too, but that's stored inside. I'll put the JETBOIL to one side and we'll go through the components of the OEX stove first. We have a lid, I think that's silicone so you don't burn your hands. This is just plastic, nothing extravagant. On top we have a pot support in case you want to use something like a frying pan or a different pot to the one that's supplied in the kit. The great thing about this stove is that you can fit inside a large gas canister. So this is a 230 gram gas canister. And then inside we have a plastic pot support. So the thing that I really like about this stove is that everything that you need nestles inside the one pot. Now onto the JETBOIL. So we've already seen that the pot support goes in the lid. Now inside here we have a little bag which contains your burner and your pot support for a frying pan or a larger pot. Because of the way the volume of this pot is set up, you can't actually fit a gas canister in with all of this stuff as well. So you can fit a large gas canister in, and then you'd have to put these in your bag separately. But you can fit a small gas canister in with the main burner, and this goes in sideways like that. But when you do that, there's no room for the frying pan support. You can't get the lid on properly, especially with this in. So this means for me that I have to store my gas canister separately inside my rucksack. The handles on the JETBOIL just fold out. However, on the OEX, it locks into place a little button that you press here and that releases it and it just folds over. My preference is for this kind of handle. However, I can see a lot of people liking this. It's more like a frying pan style. Right, I'll get the JETBOIL built up. So you remove the plastic cup. The main stove just screws into the gas canister. and then your stove just fits on there. You can just rest it on, but there's also, if you twist it a tiny bit, it locks it in place. It's a very similar setup for the OEX. You just screw the stove onto the canister. However, I did find that the thread very tight, but I guess that stops any sort of leaks. And then your pot just fits on top, and again you can twist that and it locks it in place. So here's both stoves side by side. So you can see that this one is a much taller stove. However, it does have the larger gas canister on there. The canister supports just clip onto the bottom of the gas canister, and that gives you extra stability, so you don't knock your pot over when you're in your tent. So let's take a look at how the burners work. So both have like a wire valve that you turn. However, there's a big difference when it comes to the sensitivity of these regulators. So on the OEX stove, it's basically all or nothing in the space of half a turn. Whereas on the Jetboil, you've got a much finer, flame control. So this makes it much better for simmering and much better control of your flame. Both stoves have the piezo style igniter. Let's get these lit. There's the Jetboil. So as you can see, if you can see the flame, there is quite a lot of micro adjustment with this. On the Tucana, it's much louder, but it's very difficult to get a simmering flame. So it's basically, you're literally turning it micro degrees. I'll get some water in the pots and we can compare the boil times. So we're going to go for half a litre in each. Half a litre in that one. As you can see, there are markers inside both pots. Just have a bit of a tidy up. Let's get them fired up. Start the stopwatch. Get them both turned up a little bit. I'll pop the lids on at the same time. A little bit more action on the Jetboil so far. So the Jetboil is boiling. 2 minutes 20. And we're still nowhere near yet with the OEX. Let's turn that off. We're getting some action. I'm going to say that's a boil. 4 minutes 20. Ooh, that's a horrible sound. So there was a couple of minutes difference on the boil times. So if boil times are really important to you, then I would say that a Jetboil is better than one of the more budget stoves. However, I can't say that as gospel for all brands, but definitely when comparing against the OEX, this is a better performing stove. So when you look at the finish and the quality of the components, you can also tell a bit of a difference, to be honest. The Jetboil has been manufactured to a higher standard. This microvalve regulator is a fine example of that when compared to the regulator of the OEX. But if you want something that purely boils water, both the Takana and the Minimo do that. However, this one's quicker, but this one's a third of the price. I'll take a look now, the additional pot supports. So the legs fold out like this on the Jetboil version. Exactly the same really on the OEX. I'll get the frying pan set up and then we'll see how both these stoves micro adjust so we can regulate the temperature a little better. So on the Jetboil, this just fits in and then you twist it to lock it. I tend to never bother with locking it, I just rest it on top really, but twist it to lock and then this isn't going anywhere. It is exactly the same principle on here. So you put this on the outer ring. However, the fit isn't quite as good by the looks of it. There we go. And that's now locked into place. I'm going to use the Jetboil skillet. However, you could use any frying pan really. This is the best non-stick pan that I've come across so far. Really impressed with this. Comes with a little spatula as well. So the frying pan, as you can see, it's got little ridges on there which line up with the Jetboil one, so the pot stays really secure. There is a little bit more movement on this one, but that's purely because it's not designed for this specific pan. But it's a little bit wider than the Jetboil one, so it's plenty sturdy enough for a pan this size. I'm going to pay homage to Stuart, Scottish Wanderer, cook up a bit of spam. Why does it never come out easy? And now I need to puncture a hole in here. I'm not doing it with this knife. It's coming. Eventually. Don't worry, I'm not going to cut onto the surface of the pan. Just break the last bit off. I'll start with a Jetboil. The temperature on this is really easy to control. I can go from a tiny flame all the way up to full power to get things going. So the heat is there pretty much immediately with the Jetboil. Should have put a bit of fat in really, but there's loads of fat in this spam, so I was kind of hoping it didn't need it. The thing that you notice with both the Minimo and this stove is that the heat concentration does tend to be in the centre of the pan. This pan has got a different thickness on it, so it does try and even things out. But as you may be able to see there, it is hotter on the inside than it is on the outside at the moment. But that flame is really easy to adjust. So I can turn it down to almost candlelight really, and then back up to full if I need to. Let's get this one on the go. How small the flame is there. Can't get anything like that on the OEX. It's about as low as I can get it. So it does still simmer, but look how much I'm moving it to get more or less off to, yeah. I'm virtually having to move the valve to go from a high power to low power. Get this flipped over. So as you can see in the centre, it is much hotter. That's because of the way that the jet works on this. It is just a central one, whereas something like your hob at home has got, you know, jets that come with a wider span. That looks alright actually. Turn that off. Oh, lovely sound. None of that daddy's malarkey. Let's see how easy these pack away. This just twists off. Very straightforward. This just unscrews. Still think this is a little bit tight. Canister support just clips off. Right, so first in, we need to get the valve closed, and the pot support needs to fit over there like that. And that goes to the bottom of the pot. Canister then goes in here. Close these legs. And that goes face down on there, and then the lid fits on. Press the little button on the handle, line up that grip there over the top, and then push up this little clip, and that's it. Virtually no rattle at all there, very compact. Jetboil a little bit different and not as good in my opinion. I like how the Takana packs. I think Jetboil should alter this so you can get everything plus a gas canister inside this pot. That just twists off. Canister unscrews. Again, the little lever just folds over. The legs close on the pan support. And these little legs fit just inside that lip there. That then goes inside this little bag that comes with it. And that goes inside your pot. That stops anything scratching the sides of the pot. This just folds up and clips inside the lid. This is a pretty cool design. And then that is complete once we put the little cup on. So you can use this as a cup if you wanted to, or for measuring 100ml, 200ml, 300ml markers, and then that just screws on like that. So the only issue is that that needs to be put inside your rucksack somewhere else really. So are these budget stoves just as good as the market leading Jetboil? So when it comes to performance, I say not. The Jetboil easily outperformed the Takana for boil times and for its simmer control. However, not all Jetboils have this simmer function, so bear that in mind. Something like the Zip, I think, has just got similar sort of full-on boil or nothing as this one here. The manufacturing quality of the Jetboil is better than that of the OEX, and we'd expect that for 3 times the money. I did forget to mention that there is like a strainer, and there's a drinking cup area here on the Jetboil, so there's a lip guard so you can drink your hot water or tea, and then if you're boiling potatoes or whatever, you can strain the water out. When it comes to design, I'd say it's a draw. I prefer the design of this for its compact. I like the lid on it, how it fits better than this contraption, and I do like the handles better on the Jetboil, but that again is purely down to personal preference. Some people out there would prefer this kind of handle. Where the OEX is better is that you can get, you know, a full-size gas canister in here and everything secures in nicely with virtually no rattle. You could put like a bit of kitchen paper around that pot support and then there'd be no rattle whatsoever. So Jetboil need to just alter this a little tiny bit, so at least you could get one of these ones in, and then that would be perfect for me. So overall, which is the best stove? Which is the best car? Is it a Ferrari or is it a Ford Fiesta? They're two totally different animals. When it comes to quality and performance, the Jetboil wins. However, that doesn't mean that this isn't a good stove. This is only a fraction of the price of this stove, and for most people this is perfectly adequate. Even for me, this is perfectly adequate. It can do everything that I need it to do. Its boil times might be a little longer. It might not be quite as efficient on the gas as the Jetboil. However, it boils water, I can cook a fried egg or a rid of spam, so it does everything that I would need if I was wild camping. But I have the Jetboil, and in my opinion it's a superior product, and I'm going to continue to use this. But if you're just starting out or on a budget, then this is definitely worth checking out, along with others like the Jobsworth or the Highlander stove. They're very similar. I think Alpkit do a brew kit which is also on a par with this. I'd be really interested to know what kind of stoves you use. If you use any other similar to these kind of things, let me know how they perform in the comments below. And let me know what they're like when it comes to longevity as well, because I say I've had this for quite a while now with no issues. You know, what are these like? Do they burn out after a while, or you know, do they go on forever? If you found this video useful, then please hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe, because I've got plenty of other gear to show you over the coming months. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.